What's up, you guys? Welcome back and happy freaking new year. It has been a while since we've chatted because Ruben and I got sick over Christmas. It was not the best Christmas this year, but that's okay. So we're gonna kind of chit chat, do some makeup, catch up, and talk about all things New Year's goals and all of that. So let's get ready together. Start by putting in my little clippity clips. So how was your holiday? Like I said, got sick over Christmas. Ruben actually got sick, I think from his dad, and then I got sick from taking care of Ruben. So over Christmas Eve, Christmas, and my birthday's the day after Christmas, we were sick and didn't do anything. So literally the day after my birthday, because I started feeling better before him, just started like rage cleaning my house. I just took down all of the Christmas decorations because I was just so over it. I think that is the earliest I've ever taken down Christmas decor. I usually wait until New Year's Day, or like the first week of New Year's. I try to have it down like by January 6th. I was done with it. I was done with it by December 27th. Honestly, even before then, once I realized that we like really weren't doing anything for Christmas, I was just over all of it. Still have my Christmas tree up, and the Christmas tree in my bedroom is still up. Everything else is completely down, and I just have to put everything up in the attic. I just have it sitting in my filming room. But I've been loving doing my makeup here in my bathroom. It's just a vibe. The lighting is nice. I kind of want to bring this little movable makeup cart. I think I want to just put my makeup cart in here and just have it just in here, so then I can just start doing my makeup in here, because I don't know, it's just a vibe. It's just simple. I've been really enjoying simplicity. But I have some special and exciting news, which actually really quick, before I even get into any of that, I started with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and then right now I'm using the Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation, and I'm in the shade Macadamia, which is probably a little bit too dark for me because this is the fairest I am ever. I haven't self-tanned in, I don't know, forever. The last time I self-tanned, I showed it to you, so if you can recall, I have no idea. Probably sometime in the fall. I'm gearing up to do a self-tan soon because I'm ready for a glow up. Yeah, some special announcements. So the podcast is back. We have one last name change. I didn't want to change the name again, or like have to change it again, but it just made sense. It would have been weird if I kept it what it was. But now the podcast is going to be co-hosted by Amanda Devon. Amanda was on the podcast all the time anyway. I've never had another podcast guest. She's always been the one that is down to come on and easy to talk to and is in the social media scene. Doing the podcast was very difficult for me to do on my own, and I knew that, but it never got in my way. I still showed up, tried, put in the effort, but I knew for it to be what I knew it could be, I needed help. She was down to do it with me. She was excited. She was already on it anyway. I already kind of felt like it was our podcast anyways. Because now I wouldn't be the only person doing the podcast, we decided to change the name because it didn't, I mean, Brie and Me still kind of made sense, but they would totally leave her out of the title. So we changed the name to In Her Skin, and it just perfectly embraces what I wanted from the very beginning, from the get-go, and now it just perfectly embraces what she and I are out to do together. So it just makes so much sense. I love the name. We changed the intro music, so it's just very feminine, and it's all about just like being in your 30s, us friends talking about life in our 30s, whether we're like talking about our own stories, reflecting on our past, our future, what our goals are in life, just sharing our life experience, and then also incorporating your stories and what you're going through, what you have gone through, what you're gonna go through, just kind of like talking about life. We've recorded quite a few episodes already, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear them and see them. We have a whole separate YouTube channel for the podcast. It's my previous vlog channel. That channel has just kind of been sitting there, and I was like, let's just put the podcast on there, because it got weird with like how I was uploading the podcast before. It it just didn't make sense. If you want to follow along the podcast and watch it, I will link the channel down below. It's just In Her Skin Podcast on YouTube. First episode is out. It came out on January 1st. And it's just kind of like a get to know us episode. And we play a table topics game, which I love that game. It's not even like a game. It's just like a get to know you better kind of thing where you just ask each other deep questions, ones that you wouldn't normally come up with on your own. So we do that, and then next week's episode, which will come out every Monday, but next week's episode is all about New Year's Eve, all about New Year's and our goals, what worked in 2023, what we're looking forward to in 2024, and all of that. So it's just, it feels so fresh. It's so exciting. I'm so excited that we're doing it together, and it's been so much more fun. Not that it wasn't fun before, because it was fun before. Obviously, I loved doing it, but now doing it together, it just feels so much. This is the first time in my career that I've had like a partner on something, and yeah, it's just gone so well, and we've had so much fun. And the feedback so far, because we've talked about it on Instagram, the feedback so far has been so positive. So thank you so much for your excitement too. We're both so glad that you guys are just as excited as we are. And yeah, we're just really looking forward to 2024 and this new season of the podcast. Just everything about the rebrand of it just makes so much sense. It's funny because last year on my vision board, I had podcast stuff, and I remember in my Get Ready With Me from last year for the new year, I talked about like wanting to do the podcast and like starting a next chapter and whatever, and it's just so fun to see 1 year later, I did it. I started that podcast. I'm going to be going into the Tarte Shape Tape Radiant Concealer. They sent this over to me, and I tried it out. What color am I in? Light medium. They sent this over, and I tried it the other day, and it looked really nice on my skin. So we're gonna give that a whirl, because I am not a huge fan of the regular Shape Tape concealer. It's just a little too drying for me. So this was nice because it was a little bit more glowy. But yeah, another exciting update is today is day 1 of 75 hard for me. I have been just ready for a challenge, mainly in the health and wellness genre, but also just with my mindset. I feel like the last 2 years, and I talk about this in the New Year's episode that will be going up on Monday the 8th. I talk about it in there, just about like the last 2 years and how I'm like just finally in a place where I feel ready to like move forward in life. The last 2 years brought a lot of challenges, a lot of self-reflection, self-development, and now I just feel like I'm at such a different place than I was in the last 2 years. Anyway, the last time I really challenged myself was 2021, gearing up for my wedding, and before then was 2019, when I just set out a challenge for myself. And in 2019, the challenge that I had was to not stray from my goals for 3 whole months, and every day for 3 months I did not stray away for the goals that I had set out for myself, and it felt so good to achieve it and to have something to work towards. And I was so proud of myself, and I had built up so much of like my mental muscle. I used to talk about all the time how, like, you know, you work out and you work on those muscles to like get stronger, but you have to work on your brain. That's also a muscle that you have to work on. And it has been so long since I've really done that. I feel like I was just doing so much work within myself in other areas that I wasn't working on, like my discipline, you know. And I'm gonna go in with just a touch more concealer, and I'm finally ready to just kick some ass, you know what I mean? I'm ready to kick some ass this year, and not even just this year, just in life. Like, I'm not even looking at it as like, these are the goals I need to complete this year. It's more of like, okay, I'm ready for the next step just in life, and it works out that it is the new year. I love a good new year reset, and I know some people aren't really into that, and that's fine, but if you are, then this Get Ready With Me is for you, because we're going to talk about all that stuff. So yeah, I felt like 75 hard was going to be a really good challenge for me. I overall, in the last, I would say since 2017, that's when I really started making a huge change within myself. And when I look back at myself at the beginning of that year and myself now, I have made so many changes. I can't even begin to list them all because I feel like a completely different person from then. And it's just interesting how I'm ready to do, I don't know, just like another overhaul of myself, or I don't even want to say overhaul myself. What am I trying to say? I'm ready for the next step of reinventing myself. And it's just so fun because I'm so different from then that it's just so fun to keep progressing in life and working on ourselves to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And just looking back at like what my goals were then and where I'm at now, I've achieved those goals. For instance, like overall, I have a very healthy lifestyle. I work out every day for the most part. I move my body every day. I go on daily walks. I eat nutrient-dense foods. I eat my healthy meats and vegetables. You know, I drink a lot of water. These are things that I just do now, where back then, that wasn't my lifestyle. I had a very, very bad lifestyle or just a very unhealthy lifestyle where I wasn't taking care of myself. It's just so fun to be at the point that I'm at now because I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready to kick it up a notch. And it's exciting that something like 75 hard is something that I know that I'm capable of. So if you're unfamiliar with 75 hard, I'm going to break down all of the quote unquote rules. Really quick, I'm going into the Rare Beauty Happy Soul bronzing stick. I think I've tried this before, but it's been a minute. And then I'm using my 157 brush from Smith. But yeah, so the rules are, number one, you have to stick to a diet of your choice and not veer away from that at all. It's for 75 days straight and you can't stop and start. Once you've not done one of the rules, you have to start over from scratch, which is kind of what I did back in 2019. But I gave myself 90 days, not 75, and I did it. So I know that I can do this. This does entail a lot more, but I know that I can do it. So, pick a diet, whatever that is for you, and not stray away from it. Basically what I'm doing is what I know works best for my body, which is healthy, fatty meat, vegetables with healthy fats, certain fruits. I'm not going to be eating the fruits that don't make me feel good. There are certain ones that make me constipated and all that, so I'm not doing that. I'm just doing fruits that make me feel good. Did I say vegetables? Vegetables. And just staying away from carbs and processed foods and processed sugars that don't make me feel good. I know what foods those are, and so I will be tracking my macros, but it's not even so much about hitting numbers for me as it is just choosing those foods that make me feel good. So that's the diet that I'm going to be doing. I'm also going to be having my electrolytes from Element, and yeah, so stick to that for 75 days. Every day you have to do 2 45-minute workouts. One of those has to be outside. That to me is probably the easiest thing because one of those things, the outside workout, will be a walk. So every day I already do that. I walk with Pretzel. I usually do about 30 minutes. So the hard part for that is going to be increasing that by 15 minutes. And then the other 45-minute workout, I'll either do a second walk, a lifting workout, an incline walk at the gym, or go to yoga or Pilates or something like that. The two things that I think are a little bit more difficult for me are going to be getting in a gallon of water every day. That's hard. That is definitely hard, but that's the point, is that it's supposed to be hard. It's more of, after like looking into this challenge, because when I first saw the challenge I was like, oh well, let me just make these modifications. And then I listened to some podcast episodes from, I think what is his name, Andy Frisella, I think his name is. I listened to some podcast episodes from him and it was like a reality check of like, okay, it's more about mental toughness. It's not necessarily about a fitness challenge, which truly at the core of it is what I need. I need a mental makeover. The way that humans are is that we are designed to make ourselves comfortable. And so even with this challenge specifically, right away, I'm like, okay, well, how can I make this easier for me? How can I, that's how we're designed as humans, which makes sense. Like when someone has success in life, it's easy to then resort back to old habits because we're just so used to making ourselves comfortable. Even if something is less good or exciting or whatever, if we're more comfortable with the lesser than, we are going to resort back to those habits and those old ways because it's what we're comfortable with. I listened to this book from Ed Milet. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to re-listen to it again this year. It's called The Power of One More. In that book, he talks about your thermostat, and how a thermostat works is if you have it set to 70, regardless of what happens outside, your thermostat is going to adjust itself to put it to where you are comfortable. Say that's 70 degrees. If it's cold outside and the thermostat drops to 69, it's going to heat up to get back to comfort level at 70. Well, if it's 80 degrees outside, it's going to cool the temperature down inside your house to be 70 degrees. So basically what you need to do is change your thermostat within yourself. And in that book, Ed Milet talks all about that. And I feel like that was one of the best, it was one of the best books I read last year. I read it 2 times last year. That whole concept about resetting your thermostat to what you're comfortable at is so eye-opening, and it kind of goes hand in hand with 75 hard. And it's not about being comfortable. It's about being uncomfortable, and that's when you grow, is in the discomfort. So yeah, so I will be drinking the gallon of water. I thought to myself at first, oh well, 75 ounces is fine for me, and no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the gallon of water because it's difficult. It's a challenge. It's so much easier for me to get in what I'm used to, what I'm comfortable with. So it's more about getting uncomfortable, and then taking a progress photo every day, which that too, I was like, I just don't see the point in that. For me, I don't need a progress photo every day, but again, it's more about just doing it because you're supposed to do it and getting disciplined. And then the last thing is reading 10 pages of a self-development book, nonfiction book. And for that too, I thought, oh well, let me just listen to it. That'll be so much easier for me. And then I listened to the podcast and realized it's not about that. It's about being difficult. It's about being uncomfortable. So I will be reading. And actually, I did it 2 times now, where I haven't even started the 75 hard until today, but I wanted to see okay, realistically, how long is this going to take me? It took me 15 minutes. 15 minutes to read 10 pages. So it's not that crazy. And when I think about it, it's how long do I spend on social media? Just get off your fucking phone and read a book. Read a book for 15-20 minutes. Not a big deal. So it's just about checking off all these things off my list. They're doable. I can do them. It's just about being disciplined and following up with yourself, following through with yourself, and that's how you build confidence. That's something that I am lacking, or have been lacking, is the self-confidence. And part of that is because I'll tell myself all the time that I'm going to do things, and then I never do them, or I do them in a half-assed way, and it's well, how am I going to believe in myself if I don't follow through on things, So that is why I've decided to do 75 hard, and to do it fully in the way that it's supposed to be, and not half-assing it or trying to change the rules to make myself more comfortable. Because at the end of the day, it's not just a fitness type of challenge, it is a mindset challenge, and I know that I can do it, and I'm gonna do it because I've done similar things before. And that's maybe why I'm so confident in the fact that I can do this and know that I can do it, is because I've done hard things like this in the past. And if you want to join, let's do it. I've been thinking a fun way is to just document the process. I've been doing so many more vlogs anyway, so why not just talk about my experience with 75 hard. This is my 3rd water bottle of the day. I'll have 1 more after that. Let me get some for my lips. Peeing all the time has been annoying, but I know after a week, my body will get used to it. But yeah, I know it's a pretty gnarly thing. It's absolutely not for everybody. If it was, then it would be easy. But I just feel so ready for a challenge like this. I am quite excited. I'm going into the Benetint from Benefit. I've been loving this. Fun fact, this was developed to tint your nipples. So there's that. I do 2 stripes, 2 little dashes, and then I just grab my brush and buff it in. And it's been Such a beautiful flush of color on my cheeks. I have been loving this, and I'll usually go over top of my blush after, or I'll go over top of the Benetint with a powder blush. Such a nice base and looks so natural and flushed. I love it. So pretty. Another thing I did last year was I made myself multiple vision boards throughout the year, and it was so much fun. I made one for every season, and I don't know, I feel like that just like helped keep me inspired each season. So I have already made my vision board for the year. It literally looks exactly the same as last year, and it's not even about like, I want to be exactly like that picture, kind of, but I mean, I guess it is kind of that. That's the point of a vision board, but it's just very personal, and it was fun to look at it in comparison to last year's vision board because some of the pictures were actually the same, but overall it's the same vibe. And I think if you were looking at my vision board not knowing me, or not even, I feel like everybody that's going to look at the vision board that I have is not going to see like how it's different from last year. But for me, the way that I look at my vision board this year in comparison to last year, I just have so many different feelings, and it means something different. Even though it looks so similar, it's like the pictures are different, and so they mean something different to me. That's what I love about vision boards, is that they are just so personal. You can have the same picture on your vision board as someone else, but the picture could be more about a vibe than what you actually see. And for someone else, it could be specifically about what they see rather than a vibe. You know what I mean? So all of that to say, I'm gonna have a vision board girls night at my house next week, and I am so excited. My niece actually texted me about it this morning, and I was like, yes, let's do it. So we're gonna have some girls over and print out pictures and glue them on a poster board, so then it's just a fun little girls activity, and I'm really excited. I used the Charlotte Tilbury powder, by the way. I'm in the shade medium, and I've been using that instead of the Laura Mercier powder because I feel like it's been working really well with my skin. Man, the downside of the drinking a gallon of water every day is how much I'm peeing right now. I've already peed like 10 times this morning. I'm gonna go into the Hourglass Diffused Bronze Light Bronzer and bronze up my skin. I've been loving this Hourglass brush. I use the smaller side because it's still fluffy, but it gets a nice broad area without being too broad, you know? Yeah, I think that I used to be very disciplined with things, and then I think I got caught up in the messages on social media about quote unquote loving yourself and loving yourself no matter what you look like kind of thing. And I almost allowed myself to think that it was okay to not be disciplined, or almost think that being disciplined was bad, and that I didn't love myself if I was being disciplined, which is kind of, it's a little ass backwards, and I think that it's very different for everyone. But I think that the whole like self-love movement has kind of gotten a little carried away, and it kind of, I don't know, I let it mess with me a little bit. I was very unhappy, and I've noticed that being disciplined for me with certain things is self-love. I'm just excited to make changes, and not even make changes now. I feel like I've been making changes, but just, you know, follow what works for me and not think too hard about what everyone else is doing and saying. Just actually like trusting my own intuition instead of second guessing myself all the time. I'm going into the Film Star Bronze and Glow palette from Charlotte Tilbury. Add a little bit of contour. That was a little too much, but that's okay. It'll all work out. And I think too, kind of piggybacking off of what I was saying about the discipline thing, all of that to say, it's different for everyone. I was watching some videos on 75 Hard before I decided that I was gonna start it. And one of the videos that I watched, the girl was saying how if there's a rule that says she can't do something, it just makes her want to do it more. And I know that a lot of people actually feel that way about certain things with diet and exercise and whatever, and just a healthy lifestyle in general. Like if they're told they can't have something, it just makes them want it more. And I just I don't feel that way. I can see how that can be like a destructive pattern for some people, but I just don't have that. I enjoy having discipline and not eating certain things that make me feel like shit because I feel better. So I don't know, I do think that it's very different for everybody, and just really listening in and following your own intuition to know what does that look like for you, because it does look different for everybody. Use my NYX 3 steps to sculpt to do my nose contour. I'm gonna step far back so I don't do too much. Sometimes I go a little overboard. I'm excited for our New Year's episode to come out on Monday, because I was actually just listening to it before I did this get ready with me, because I didn't want to say everything that I say in there, but that is like a full-blown breakdown of like the good and bad of last year and kind of like what we're bringing into next year. Something that worked was being disciplined and having a schedule while also being able to go with the flow. And I can definitely, like just now I was thinking about my workout, and I did the 45-minute walk outside, and I was thinking, well, what do I want to do for my second workout? And just being able to stay consistent with working out while also going with the flow has felt so freeing. But it was something that I really had to work on, because I used to be so rigid with my routine that if I didn't have a plan set and if I didn't go with that plan, then I don't know, I just like wouldn't be able to go with the flow. Where now I feel like just this was a perfect example. I was thinking about what workout I want to do, and I was thinking, well, I'm either going to go to yoga or I'm going to lift weights. Being able to trust myself and think, well, let me wait till later and see how I feel, because I know for a fact that later on, once I see how I feel, I will pick one of those things. Where me in the past, if I would have waited till later to see how I feel, later on, I know I would feel like I don't want to do it, and so I just wouldn't do it. And so I wouldn't be able to trust myself to make that decision later, where now I can. So good things. These are things that I've worked on over the years. Say what you want about New Year's goals, and you can have a negative opinion about them, but I've had great experiences with creating goals and sticking to them and whatever. So I love this time of year I just love the new year. I'm gonna go into the Pillow Talk blush from Charlotte Tilbury and pop this on top of the Benetint. I really want to do like a very rosy, girly glam today. I don't know what's going on with my, like a line. Oh, another rule is no alcohol. And I always forget about that one because I actually don't drink anyway. And I know a lot of people struggle with that as one of the rules, but that has just never been something that I struggle with, which is very interesting. I don't actually know why I've never gotten into drinking. It's just never been my thing. Something is going on with my face. What is going on here? But yeah, so the whole no drinking thing is like not a big deal for me. I'll have wine every now and then, but to be honest, it's more about the idea of having wine than having wine itself. I don't know. I've never been I've just never really been into it. And when I do have the wine, I'm just kind of like, meh. Okay, I'm gonna spray my face with the Morphe setting spray. I'm gonna go into the Glossier Boy Brow. I do have a little bit of that in my brows already, but I wanna go in with some more. I have the shade Brown, and it's this very teeny tiny little bristle brush. I'm just gonna add even more. This has been something I've been loving doing with my brows. I feel like it makes such a difference. I was so late to the game with this. I feel like girls have been doing this for years. And I feel like now doing it first before filling in my brows really helps to give a nice base, so then I don't have to go in with much of a brow pencil. And then for my brow pencil, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in the color Brunette. Oh, you know what I'm in the mood to watch right now is The Hills. I loved that show, and you know what? I actually have the DVDs at my parents' house. Should bring them here. You know what I was thinking about? So I went to Second and Charles, which is this like used bookstore, and they have like CDs and vinyls and all of that. And I was looking at all the CDs, and I thought, you know what? I'm pretty sure in my office I have a flip through CD holder. I think I'm gonna put that in my car and then just start listening to all of my old CDs. I miss it, and I like want to get a Discman. I don't know why. Like maybe when I'm reading a book I can listen to my CDs, I don't know. Now for my eyeshadow, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this concealer as my primer. I never do this, by the way. I've been a Painterly Paint Pot from MAC whore for years, like since the beginning of time. But I do not feel like going in my filming room and finding it. We're just gonna try this. And I'm sure this works just as well. So I really want to do like a very rosy type of look today. So I'm going to be using the Pillow Talk palette from Charlotte Tilbury. Anytime that I use this, I love the way my makeup looks. I also have the Luxury Palette of Pops Pillow Talk palette, which has all shimmers, but they have some deeper ones. So I'll be basically mixing these two together. So I'm going to start with this rosy color here and just bring this into the eye, into the crease, the outer corner, bring that underneath, and do this side. Yeah, I think that this year is probably the most, I don't know how to say this, I want to say the most me that I've felt, but in ways that I haven't before. There are ways where I've felt more myself in other ways. I don't know, there's almost a confidence about myself that I'm feeling now that I've never felt before, but I have felt it in different ways, more so than now, which is interesting. Like, for instance, I think right now, with how I feel within my soul, I feel the most myself, but I think I've felt more myself, like in my actual body in years in the past. I'm grabbing some of my bronzer right now just to put through the eyeshadow. We have a glorious sunny day today, which is amazing because I know for the next while it's gonna be pretty gloomy, so this feels good to have some sun out. I'm gonna open up the windows when I go downstairs and just let it all in. I'm gonna add this color here into the look. Ooh, we're smoky today. I'm gonna go into the Luxury Palette of Pops. I'm gonna end up like mixing everything together, but I'm gonna start with this one and pop that on the lid. Do the darker one here on the outer part. And then we're gonna do the lightest one here on the inner part of the eye. If anybody knows how to do like color analysis, I don't know how it at all would affect me to know the information, but what fucking season am I don't know, because when I look at the wheel, like what I see on TikTok, I see these pictures of like Gigi Hadid, and I feel like my coloring is similar to hers, like when I see the pictures and it says that she's a soft autumn, but then people are saying like blondes can't be a soft autumn, because my natural hair color here, that is like it's not even ashy, it's a dirty blonde, but it's very neutral. In some lighting it goes warm, and in some lighting it looks more ashy. So then if I'm not a soft autumn, then it says that I'm like a certain summer, and I just don't think that any of those colors look good on me. Absolutely not a spring, because I'm not super warm. So I don't know. Like, to me, I'm drawn towards the soft autumn, and when I look at the color palette, I can see that I'm those colors. But then when I do more research on it, it's telling me that I'm not. So I don't know. If you know color analysis, let me know. If you know what I am, because I'm just curious. And I don't know how this at all affects me. Like, is that gonna help me with picking colors? I feel like I know what looks good on me, but maybe not. Maybe I don't know. So let me know if you can just tell what I am, because I have no freaking clue. Okay, I'm gonna grab the Film Star Bronze and Glow palette to do the inner corner and the brow bone. So I'm gonna put this here, and this really is gonna tie everything together and like brighten up the eyes. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Curling the lashes. And then I'm gonna go into my new favorite mascara. This is the YSL Lash Clash mascara. I've been liking this because it's something that I can use on the top and the bottom lashes. This is what the bristles look like. So I'm gonna apply 2 coats of this to my lashes. Love this look that I did today because I feel like this is a really good wedding look. Like the rosy in the eyes and the rosy on the cheeks. If you have, that's what got me thinking about color analysis. If you are more fair like me, this would be such a good signature wedding look. Okay, the eyes are done. Now it's time for the lips. I'm gonna go into Soar from MAC, which is a gorgeous, like light pinky purpley color. Is this focusing? I can't tell. On its side, now that I've lined the lips, just to kind of blend that color in. Use my finger. Just looks really soft now, not so bold with the border and then super light on the inside. And then for lipstick, I'm gonna grab Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. It's like a light blushy pinky nude. And then on the top of that, this is the Rosewood Glow lipstick from Makeup by Mario. And this is kind of like a lipstick gloss. You wanna keep it like really far down because it's so emollient. So you'll see, just kind of tap it on. It goes on like straight up glossy. And you can't roll it up like you normally would or it's gonna make like a huge mess, but it's so beautiful. I'm gonna go in with a final coat of mascara. To brush this out. All right, you guys, that is it. I just love this look. It's so feminine and girly and just wearable, but also you can like wear this out. I love looks like that, and I've been really loving this lipstick, the Makeup by Mario one. Again, this is in Rosewood Glow. You can top it on top of any kind of lip liner look, and it just looks so just glossy but comfortable. I don't love the feel of a lip gloss on my lips, but this is more comfortable to me. Kind of has like a lipsticky glossy feel. I just love the way that it makes my lips look. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm just so excited for the new year. I hope that you guys are too. I hope you had fun just kind of hearing what some of my goals are. Did I even go over goals? I guess I mainly just talked about 75 Hard in the podcast, so make sure you're following the podcast. I will link where you can listen to it and watch it down below. Again, we have a YouTube channel, In Her Skin Podcast, but then you can also listen to it on Apple and Spotify. We'll be posting every Monday, and stay tuned for next week because next week's episode is all on goals, and we're really gonna break down our goals and go over that. So if you want like a very in-depth, raw, personal podcast or video all on New Year's goals, make sure to check that out and follow along with the podcast. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. I'll link everything down below. And I hope that you guys are excited for just the new year. I hope that you're going into it with a positive outlook and are just excited for whatever it brings. I feel like this year I wasn't like so, I don't know, I didn't feel overwhelmed about goals or anything. It's not like I set out all of this crazy stuff for myself. It's more of like continue doing the good things that I've been doing and implement them more consistently. I guess that's my word for this year, is consistency, because there are a lot of things that I'm already doing and implementing in my life, but I think that my life would be it would just make more sense and be a little bit more elevated if I was more consistent. So that's one of my words this year, is to be more consistent. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful start to your new year, a wonderful day, and yeah, please subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.